Now, if racism doesn't exist, then riddle me this. Why do you try so hard to make us feel guilty about shit you do? Because it's been very clear throughout these last couple of 100 years, and as evolved as we think we might seem we are still lacking under the boot of the root problem, which is the Constitution on which every law in this particular 3D world is based upon. Why do I say this? Because, as for example George Carlin might have said, it is... Drone just flew by. Oh boy, I hope he's protected. So I find it very weird that, Western society, but society in general, tries to blame all the world's problems on other people for shit that those people never did. Especially when they're the ones going out to other people's countries, treating their culture with such amount of disrespect, and then claiming you bring good. I mean, let's be honest, people. What's happening everywhere around the world is a clear indication that Western man has truly lost its shit. And in order for there to hide that fact, I mean, let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen, fuck a war on drugs, fuck a war on terror. We need a war on pedophiles, especially the ones in the Vatican and in the royal families, and in our branches of government. That's the real war we should all be facing, because it's happening, again, behind closed doors, no pun intended. That really is astounding, that no one even seems to bat an eye, but we all run around circles about mundane shit that does not even matter. I mean, I find it fascinating. Look, I'm not saying that there are people out there who look like me who aren't participating in such disgusting, horrible events, and they should be punished and they should burn in hell. And there's no indication to feel bad for a piece of shit like that to want to go to hell. Period. That's not even a 3D law, that's a universal law. That is the law of the cosmos. That is the law of karma. That is the law of this planet. Is that you don't breed hate or sin on the innocent. But I find it fascinating, not really, because Western man and woman around the world has always thought backwards, and it's that type of backwards thinking that got us into this horrible fucking mess in the first place. We seek a connection with someone else before we seek a connection with ourselves. We seek to destroy the world in order to go to another planet in order to create a better world. Well, if we don't take care of this planet, well, what chances are of us doing better in the next one? I mean, people, we all love to play video games, but this world is not a video game by which, you can do whatever you wish and there will be no consequences. And seeing as though you've been conditioned for a very long time, internally, externally, philosophically, religiously, every plan was made to try and get you shut off from this very world. And of course, there is a very understanding because of that. Because let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen, if all of the freedom came without consequence, you all would lose your shit, and we wouldn't have 8 billion people on this planet. We wouldn't have 6 billion. I don't know exactly what the number is at this time. It could be around 7.8 billion. But probably we have around 80 billion people on this planet because people wouldn't stop fucking. Alright? And disease, at the past at least, would not have been rampant because, we had better food, we had better water, it wasn't contaminated with a bunch of chemical shit. So, having said that, people, coming back to the topic of racism doesn't exist, well, why do you blame other people for shit that you're not even capable of controlling? I mean, you're pretending like people that look like me are running the branch of government. Well, you've completely shut us out of this discussion, you've completely shut us out, but then you expect us to take the fall for shit we have no control over, because you never invited us to the party. Yeah, Tea Party was very nice, yeah. Take down the British in order so us to take down everyone else. And the hypocrisy upon which your constitution is based of is basically, hey, let's kill everyone and call it democracy. Hey, let's hide colonization behind the masks of democracy and have that be so. So, why do you try so hard to make us feel guilty about shit that you do? Well, it's very simple. Because your ego lets the outside world know that you have any clue, any idea about what the hell you're doing. And the truth of the matter is, you really don't. As a matter of fact, no one does. Except the ones who sat back silently and watched this whole thing collapse on its own fucking ass. Do I need to continue? Yes, so I will continue. Why do you blame other cultures for shit you're not capable of? As I've said before, and this is of no offense, but let's be honest, your entire culture, dear Western white European descendants, have been of stealing, manipulating, raping other cultures, destroying them, and then assimilating them and adding them to your own. This has been so since the beginning. I mean, look at Horus and Jesus, same story. Look at Shango, Thor, same shit, different day. Alright? Look at Cualepaca, you know? The Inca god of lightning. Same shit. We're all connected. And there was a point in time where we were all connected as one. And before the Great Split, yes, this earth did go through a great split. And seeing as all the ancient societies are coming up rampant back up on there, it is clear to see that that is very true. The only question is, how do we get to that knowledge? Well, what most people would not have you want to know is that all of the knowledge, internal knowledge you seek, is somewhere within your DNA. But how do you access that? Well, first of all, the inward journey. Every culture, before it was wiped out completely by the European descendants, would have to tell you that everyone, despite where you're geographically located, is that we all go through an inner journey before we get to the outside world. That is why, from age 0 to 12, you were raised in the village before you were heading out, because part of what people don't understand is that your spiritual programming is just as important as the programming you get from school, just as important as the programming you get from other sources of learning material. So to have it stated that all the other ones don't matter, or all the other ones other that you get in school or that you get at home are the only ones, no. If you want that knowledge, you ought to seek it out. But where do we begin? And oftentimes we reflect that upon ourselves. But books and many knowledge can only take you so far. I seek the truth, and here I am delivering you the truth. So again, don't think for a second that Western white have any originality whatsoever. It's a lie that they've not only told themselves, but also convinced other people of that lie. So when it comes to sociopathic nature, the whole world is in therapy right now, ladies and gentlemen, so enjoy. Everyone has been through that very discovery on their own. So, again, why do you blame other cultures for shit you're not capable of? Because you're not really cultured. That's pretty much it. I'm sorry to break the news to you, but the part of history is that you've stolen from others historically, and the way the universe works is now they're coming to steal back. They're coming to take back what you have unwillingly, willingly stolen from other cultures, no matter what the damage, no matter what the trauma has done, and no matter what you do. If you do not make them amends right now, retribution will be coming, and it won't be pretty. Alright? The very reason why there's an anti-white narrative out there now on the planet, alright, is because deep in your subconsciousness you know that the world is changing and it's not going to go down without a fight. You cannot keep people psychologically, spiritually, emotionally, and physically down without some time in the way something is going to explode. Someone is going to snap, and it will be put out there. This has been a prediction long made once you've known the patterns of yourself and know the patterns of the universe. Recognizing that everything is connected, be careful who or what you decide to reject. This is coming from a comment I made recently, because they feel like people that look like me are, unquote, victim blaming. So if there's any bigger cop-out than that, then historically, then I don't know who to call. I never called a white person Uncle Tom before in my life, but if there was ever a time, whoo boy. So, why do you blame other cultures for shit you're not capable of? Because you're not capable of seeing the various ways that other cultures have seen it. Besides, Western society has never had to look internally and check themselves on their own shit. Why? Simply because they've had no one ever question them, and even if they did, they hid it away, they shoved it under the rug, or even worse, they would kill them off. So that's pretty much why they blame other cultures for shit they're not capable of. Because, really, again, soulless beings, alright? They take. Soulless beings do not know the concept of love because their love is a lie. Even many people have come to realize that the concept of love as being portrayed in the Western society is complete and utter horseshit. And so, all the back-end prostitutes, all the underage teenage people that are being bought and sold under the rug, especially in the United States and Western Europe. But then again, what do you expect when you have an entire spiritual religion behind hiding pedophiles in either royal palaces, such as in the UK, or have them be hiding behind the Vatican? Oh yeah, they'll hide behind the cross, all right. Fingers, but not only that, crossed. So, again, I say, if you truly want a war, fuck a war on terror, fuck a war on drugs, start the right type of wars. A war on pedophilia, a war on discrimination, and a war on politicians that are corrupt. You want to start those type of wars, then you'd be actually making a fucking difference. Not whipping your head around the same shit hoping for someone else to make a better way. Fuck that shit. So, why do you try so hard to keep others from progressing? Why? Because, again, I say, you do not know how to progress without taking shit from someone else and claiming it was your own. I mean, look at music, look at movies, look at culture. You think Hollywood was the biggest thing in movies when they first got started? Fuck no, it was the Japanese, alright? And I'll give you a simple one, alright? When the Japanese came out with Godzilla, guess what they did? They had to bring out King Kong, alright? They had to try to compete because they were too stupid not to think of, hey, how do we compete with a lizard? Oh yeah, sure, make a monkey. Now, if there's any racist undertones in there or not, I'm not going to discuss that, but that is clear for all the other social media heads to put out there. Why do you need a link? You see, Western society thinks so limitedly that, there needs to be put a link in order to have something be real. Look, 1 + 1, that's a link, but you can agree that it's 2. So, why is it so difficult for you to accept that such a thing as racism comes from both sides? Like, we didn't one day come out of the bat and say, hey, you're being racist. There's a clear pattern of behavior that came long before that, has been perpetuated long before that. Again, because of Western society's ego, they try to sweep that under the rug. They try to dig it out because, hey, that would ruin the status. Well, I'll tell you, if everything that's been brought up to the surface thus far came out with the rest, trust me, the US and Europe and Australia and many more would be arrested and sent to the depths of hell alone and for crimes against humanity. Alright? If they lock up as many of those type of people as much as they lock up Aborigines, as much as they lock up Mexicans, and as much as they lock up blacks, trust me, the world would be a lot safer place. But hey, why do that when you can make money off of sending other people to jail? Because hey, we're just too proud to call ourselves out on our own bullshit, and we're just mad when someone else does it for you. Well, what more can I say? Western hypocrisy at its finest. So, are we going to keep around and having this discussion forever? No, then do something about it once and for all. And the solutions are very simple. But can you crawl outside of your own ass in order to find out? Well, only time will tell. So, what's next? Why do you need a link? Why do you need a link between what someone else does in contradiction to what you do? Because honestly, you see the world a certain way because you see yourself a certain way, but you refuse to see yourself in that way. So ultimately, your unwillingness, your unknowingness of yourself really perpetuates to all of the horse shit that is currently happening around in this world as we speak. Now, moving on to the very next subject. Here we go. Why do you need to have a race at all? As if being from a geographical location makes you be anything or anywhere. Because honestly, let me tell you right this. Let me riddle you this. People are identifying themselves, he, she, it, alright? You've got a guy from the UK, alright, who's identifying himself as a pure 100% Korean, alright? So let's not sit here and pretend that a geographical location has anything or says anything about who you are as a person. But in order for you to dissect and have everything compartmentalized because your brain cannot tell the difference from your ass or your dick, that's pretty much because you don't know yourselves. You don't know yourselves truly. I mean, let's not pretend that Christianity is your real religion. All right, it's the pagans. All right, we all know this. All right, so instead of trying to hammer on, what lack of culture we have or what richness you're trying to take from us, well, everything is a race with you, and everything is about race because everything about your life screams a race, and then you wonder why black don't crack. Simple, because we do not treat life like we're on crack 24/7, even though you tried us to get to that point many different times. But hey, let's move on to the next subject. Why do you need people to blame for your own inadequacies? Because deep down you know you are inadequate. Deep down you know without putting other people down, you wouldn't be shit. And that is a sociopathic tendency that all of you motherfuckers have, deep down inside. Like Ice Cube said, a bitch is a bitch. I'm not talking in the exact same pitch, but the title bitch hides in all women. So, especially sociopathic tendencies are in all people as well. They're in there somewhere, but as we no doubtly see, it's mostly portrayed very well by European descended white people all across the board. So, let us continue. You seem to have no problem blaming other cultures for shit you do wrong. Well, let's find out why. Because really, they need an excuse to have the world be upside down. Because Western society as a whole thinks upside down, and therefore they need a validation deep down inside that their world is upside down. But because they want to refuse the fact that their world is upside down, they blame other people for the fact that their world, in their head, in their mind, in their body, is upside down. So, having said that, however, you can't really blame these idiots for what's happening in the world currently right now because, trust me, their world is like 69 upside down. And the only way to course correct it is by acknowledging the fact that, yeah, history was very damaging. Hey, we need to heal that. Yes, we need to acknowledge that it happened, and we as a society need to start apologizing for the past. Fuck society, I don't care, don't apologize to society, alright? Have society do what's right for society, alright? But we can only do that as a people. So, as a people, we must come together and acknowledge the fact that, hey, there was some wrongdoing in the past, and make shit right. Because I tell you right now, where we are right now, you will not last long. If you think you can keep going down the same direction, thinking racism does not exist. Oh yes, it does exist. Will it always exist? No. We can get that done very quick, very easy. Alright? Climate change. For example, if you were to listen to nature herself, alright, she would tell you that can be fixed very quickly, alright? Probably within a year. Yes, I've said it. You can fix that within a year. Imagine that. A year. Climate change problem solved. And it doesn't come with a bunch of treaties, but it comes with us working together and stop acknowledging that there are differences, when really the only differences are that we create the differences. And really, once you get down to the truth of nature, there aren't any. So, you want to prevent suicide? Stop thinking dark thoughts. You want to prevent this world going to hell? Start making it a better place. You want to fix the world? Fix the environment you're in first, before I start telling you how to fix the world. And where else do we go? Again, coming back to why you need a people to blame for your own inadequacies, because, well, you don't know people. You claim to know, but that's the ego talking, where really the ego is the darkest part of us all. Ego, ultimately, like I've said, is the biggest demon that is keeping us from moving forward. So, let us move forward peacefully. Alright? But if you don't acknowledge that there was a war, trust me, there'll be more wars again. Alright? The First World War was actually what happened with the American Indian. Alright? Technically, World War III already happened. That was Hitler. The First World War was exactly that. Matter of fact, you can call that a World War IV. If you look at the history. Matter of fact, look at Indonesia. You can call that a World War V. Oh wait, look at Arab right now. You can call that a World War VI. The only reason they haven't called it the World War III because it is not affecting them directly. But give it some time. I'll tell you, I'll give it 2 months. 2 months. There'll be another war like this again, and guess what? We're not going to recover because people are tired of having their freedoms being stripped away by a bunch of idiots who never left their office and never looked at the world outside their own office or their own mansions that they're sitting in. And again, there's nothing wrong with a mansion. I'd love a mansion. Hey, I'm in a mansion right now. I'm in nature's mansion. So, alright, unless you want the whole world to get at you like Marlon Manson, enjoy nature's mansion. Anything else? Why do you need to have a race at all? Because there's no such thing as race, because life is not a race. And there are no differences in race. There's only differences in how we go about getting to the race. Now, what type of race are we talking about? Well, is it the race of life or the race of the fact that we still haven't gone over the fact that there's no such thing as race? So, do you still need to blame people who look like this guy right here for your own inadequacies? Well, start putting your money where your mouth is and look within. Because if you're so quick to blame other people, well, guess what? There's a whole lot of blaming for yourself to go around. But hey, look at that mirror. Acknowledge yourself. I've had to. I've done a lot of wrong. I've tried to do right. But did the best what I could with what I had. So, as long as you do that, you know we can make a difference. Now, having said that, have a good day, everyone. And as always, see you the next day. Alright? Ciao, everyone.